So the big question is this: how do small business owners like us grow our leadership, develop our teams, and scale our business in a way that allows us to get our products and services out to the world, yet still remain profitable? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. I'm Bradley Hamner, and this is the Club Capital Leadership Podcast. Welcome to The Bottom Line, a new weekly podcast series that we drop every Thursday to complement our weekly Monday podcast interviews with the industry leaders. These podcasts are going to be designed to give you short, impactful, and value-driven information that you can start using right away in your business. I value your time and attention and will do my very best not to waste it. Just get what you need and go. So with that, let's get into today's episode. Are you an agency owner looking to grow your revenue, increase your bottom line, and better manage your taxes? Club Capital is here to help. Club Capital is the largest accounting and advisory firm for insurance agents in the country, providing monthly accounting, tax strategy, and CFO services. Way more than bookkeeping and your everyday run-of-the-mill tax prep, Club Capital is focused on providing financial and tax advisory services that help you plan and forecast your agency's performance. Their financial dashboards and agency forecasting tools help you better understand your agency's historical performance, create and measure future targets, and see how your agency compares to your peers around the country. Imagine what it would be like to understand the impact to your bottom line when deciding to hire a new employee, or forecast the impact rate changes or commission rates will have on your business. With over $200 million in tracked annual revenue and $140 million in tracked annual expenses, Club Capital has the data and the team to help you make better informed decisions for your agency. They will help you turn that back office stress into the backbone of your agency's success by giving you the tools to take your agency and your leadership to the next level. Visit club.capital today to book a solution overview with one of our business consultants. Club Capital, way more than a CPA firm. Are you an agency owner looking to grow your revenue, increase your bottom line, and better manage your taxes? Club Capital is here to help. Club Capital is the largest accounting and advisory firm for insurance agents in the country, providing monthly accounting, tax strategy, and CFO services. Way more than bookkeeping and your everyday run-of-the-mill tax prep, Club Capital is focused on providing financial and tax advisory services that help you plan and forecast your agency's performance. Their financial dashboards and agency forecasting tools help you better understand your agency's historical performance, create and measure future targets, and see how your agency compares to your peers around the country. Imagine what it would be like to understand the impact to your bottom line when deciding to hire a new employee, or forecast the impact rate changes or commission rates will have on your business. With over $200 million in tracked annual revenue and $140 million in tracked annual expenses, Club Capital has the data and the team to help you make better informed decisions for your agency. They will help you turn that back office stress into the backbone of your agency's success by giving you the tools to take your agency and your leadership to the next level. Visit club.capital today to book a solution overview with one of our business consultants. Club Capital, way more than a CPA firm.
Hey everyone, it's Bradley. So it was about a year and a half ago, my wife and I, maybe 2 years ago, we first started to have the conversation that we needed to actually move forward on a renovation in our house. And we wanted to redo the kitchen. And of course, she had all kinds of things on her Pinterest board and visions of, where she wanted the sink, what type of cabinets and what type of island, et cetera. So I'm sure many of you can relate. And so I was sharing this story with some other business owners. I said, who do you think the first person is we called after we both decided, yeah, now's a good time. We had bought the house in November of 2016. And so we decided, we had known for a long time that we wanted to do these renovations. Well, of course, the first person that we called, a lot of people, when I've asked this question to, they think we called the builder or you called the banker. Actually, the first person we called was an architect. And we had a guy who's very well known in the Huntsville area, Paul Matheny, and he lived one street up from us. And so we called him. He came over himself, and then he sent some of his team over. And they came over a couple of times, got all kinds of different measurements, et cetera. And so with that, then that's when my wife and I would meet with the team, and she would share all the images she had on her Pinterest board. And then they went back and they came and shared us 3 different blueprints. And a couple of them we rejected pretty quickly. And one of them we thought, wow, this is a really great layout. Started to make some adjustments. And can you do this? And can you do that? And can you make the island a little bit bigger? And what type of material would it be, et cetera? And so ultimately, when that is done, what did we do? We handed that over to our contractor, to the builder. And then the builder then laid out the plans. Now, how does this apply to us in business? I think at the end of the day, you need to be able to have both a blueprint and a plan for your business, because one without the other is just not going to suffice. So the blueprint is the vision of where we wanted to go. Because if we'd have just called a builder, and let's say we called someone and we said, Sam, would you come in and start to, would you like to do our renovation? He says, great, yes, I can start next week. And Sam comes in and he immediately starts knocking out walls. I'd say, whoa, what are you doing, Sam? He said, well, we're renovating the house. Well, Sam, you don't even know what we're going to be doing. He said, yeah, but we're moving the ball forward. Well, at the end of the day, if he doesn't have, he may say, well, it's going to be great whenever it's finished. Well, if he doesn't actually have the blueprint and the vision of what it is we're going to build, he's just going to be doing a lot of work, sweating. But at the end of the day, we don't know what it's going to be. And I think that a lot of times is the exact same way in our businesses. We're sweating a lot, but we're actually not moving forward. And even if we are moving forward, maybe we are tearing walls out and we are starting to put in new cabinets. I don't know what the finished product is going to be. And so if I could give you some advice that's been really helpful to me, it was getting really clear on what the vision is for my business. And, books that have been very impactful to me, Vivid Vision by Cameron Herold is a great book. The Vision Driven Leader by Michael Hyatt is a fantastic book. And specifically, we've settled on a 3-year vision. Where do you want your business to be 3 years from where it is today? And then begin to kind of reverse engineer off of that. But at the same time, I want to be clear that goals are simply ideas, and you cannot execute on ideas. You can only execute on plans. And so while you could take the time, and both of those books will share with you the importance of laying out in multiple pages. This is not a pithy, 4 or 5 sentences. And by the way, this is not for this podcast, but a vision and a mission are very different things. The impact that you want to have in the community, exactly how do you go about serving, your customers, et cetera. That gets a lot into mission, but really, where is your business going? Like, where are we pointing the Titanic to go? So you really want to, it becomes multiple pages. I had a graphic designer to take what I had on a document and then to be able to add images and graphics and pictures and really bring it to life. And if you read the book from Cameron Herold, specifically Vivid Vision, he'll detail that out. Well, that takes a lot of work to do that. And many of you will have it all in your head of what you want the vision to be, but actually doing the work. It kind of goes back to the episode when I talked about ideas are everywhere, but implementation is everything. You're not going to get the value out of this unless you actually spend the thinking time to sit down and lay out, really, where do I want the business to be 3 years from now? And to get, as Cameron says, have a vivid vision of where you want the business to be. I know there's some other books that talk about having visions out there 10 years, 25 years, et cetera. That's been hard for me. So much changes in 3 years, in a year, let alone 10 years. It's hard for me to think that far. But if I go back, I'm recording this first part of September 2022, and if I go back 2021, 2020, 2019, I know where I was in August, September of 2019. I was on a guy's golf trip playing with a bunch of my really good friends playing golf at Bandon Dunes. And it feels like it was just yesterday. And that was 3 years ago. That was 3 years ago. think about where you were and where your business was 3 years ago. And if you had set a 3-year vision at that time, how fast it's going. And so I think that that's helpful for me to be able to kind of look back on how far or how fast 3 years will go. And I think it's a perfect amount of time to get something big and meaningful done. But at the same time, it's not so far out into the future that I just can't really reverse engineer off of that. If I think about 2032, it's like, I'll be 50 years old. I don't know. It's hard for me to get that down on paper of what that looks like. That's just my experience. Hopefully, maybe that serves you as well. But if you really lay that out, that is the blueprint. That's the blueprint of where you're taking this. That's the vision of where you're taking the business. But it is not a substitute for the plan to get there. One without the other is just incomplete. You really do need both. You need the plan that is building towards the blueprint, the vision of what you want to accomplish. But if you only have a plan that is executable, but you don't actually then lay out, where are we going? What's this renovation going to look like? What's the business going to look like whenever we get there? And then, of course, whenever it comes in 3 years, I wish so much. I really do. I don't want to say, I guess it is a regret in some respects, but I really do wish that I could go back and find the times that I laid out, a business plan. But I really wish I'd had taken the time to journal out my thoughts about my dreams, where I wanted the businesses to be, so I could go back and read those things. There is I won't spend too much time on this, but there's a great journal. It's a 5-year journal, and it's only 5 sentences for each day. So it's really easy to get through. So if you've tried to get in the habit of journaling, this is a great start. I think it's called a Levenger 5-year journal. And so I've been really consistent with that because, again, it's 5 pages. So it's easy to do, easy to write down your day. But think about that. If you could go back and read that same day, September the 8th, going back the last several years of what you were doing on September the 8th. I think that's really, really cool. It was actually Craig Rochelle that mentioned that on one of his podcasts years ago, and I bought that journal, and it's been really cool to see. I wish I'd have had that. Wish I'd have had that for a lot of years. But anyway, I hope that serves you. So point is, you want to have a blueprint. You need to have a blueprint, a vision of where you want to take your business. And at the same time, you need to be able to have a plan to get there, because plans are executable. You can execute on a plan. Goals are ideas. Goals are ideas of what you want to do. And a lot of times we substitute thinking that a goal is the plan to actually make that happen. That's like vividly describing Oz, but not actually building the yellow brick road to get there. That's been helpful to me along my journey, and I hope that served you as well. Appreciate your time and attention. Hope you got a good return on it. Till next week, everyone, lead well.
If you're listening to this podcast, I know you're someone who has a growth mindset, and you probably want to be able to grow your book of business as well. Well, DirectClick specializes in helping insurance agencies leverage Google Ads and SEO to drive inbound phone calls, leads, online visibility, and even organic traffic. You can be confident in knowing exactly how well your ads are working and getting support in what really matters in your business. Get exclusive online marketing support today when you visit directclicksinc.com. You know how important it is to develop yourself and to develop your team. Well, if you're going to do that, you want to do it with the best. Work with Coach P Consulting to learn and implement the same strategies that he used to sell over 700 life policies in 2021 alone. You'll get personalized coaching 2 times a week and an in-depth look at how his office is run, and Coach P will train your team alongside his own. Get your first month free when you mention the Club Capital Leadership Podcast during signup. Visit CoachPconsulting.com to get started. If you've listened to this podcast for any amount of time, you've heard me say many times, the best use of money is to be able to buy back your time. And one of the best ways to do that is by hiring a virtual assistant. Whether it's an executive assistant or creative marketing assistant, RockSolid has a unique hiring process to net the very best talent, and they intentionally match you with a great fit for you and your team. They value your success as if it were their own, because it is. If you're looking to build a rock-solid team for your business, reach out to Tracy and her team at rocksolidassistance.com.